Part 2. So now we got to multiply this all out. Now there's a couple ways of doing it, but I'm going to concentrate on this and just FOIL. 15 times 10 is 150. 15 times negative 2x is negative 30x. Negative 2x times 10 is negative 20x. Negative 2x times negative 2x is 4x squared. Now I'm going to add like terms, so I get 150 minus 50x plus 4x squared. And now I got to multiply all that by x. So that distributes, and I'm going to put things in descending order. So 4x cubed minus 50x squared, and then plus 150x. And that is what they're looking for. That's the volume formula in terms of x. All right, next problem, a little bit different looking. The volume of a cube with side length x is volume based on x, the side is x cubed. So I'm going to jump ahead. It says when x equals 2. So let's go ahead and figure out what the volume is. So that'd be 2 cubed, which is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8 cubic units. Okay? Now, they give you kind of the volume. It says the volume of a sphere. Now notice, v of x, that equals y. That's the y function for our cube. But it's also our y function for our sphere. It says the volume of the sphere with radius 1/2 x is shown on the graph. When x is 2, which volume is greater? Well, we already know the volume of a cube with side 2 is 8. But if we put the side 2 here, if x is 2, they're saying, look here, because here x is 1, x is 2. Now we're going to find the volume of the sphere by going up where it matches. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. The volume of the sphere would be 4. So which one's bigger? Well, the cube. Number 11. Use synthetic division to divide. So we take a look at the denominator and we say, what will cause that to be 0? And we say 2. Put it in the chipmunk nest. Make a list of all of take the coefficients off. Make sure you're in descending order. And we are. And then here we go. Drop the 1, multiply, add. Whoops, that's negative 3. Multiply, add. Multiply, add. Multiply, add. So what's my answer? Well, remember, you drop down 1 from the highest power, so that means that represents 1x cubed minus 3x squared minus 4x minus 2 with a remainder of 2. Now give me a second here. Just wasn't 100% sure how they wanted us to write the remainder, but they want it in what's called fractional form. So you take the remainder, put it over the divisor. I like to put a plus there. I think that agrees with most math books. Number 12. Sketch the graph of the function f of x equals diddle-a-diddle-a-duh by finding the zeros. Now we can do this using good old algebra. You can take an x out of this, so we need to do that. We'd be left with x squared plus x minus 2. Now notice this is a factorable GATA1 trinomial. So we're going to break that trinomial into 2 binomials. This is a negative 2, this is a positive 1. So I need to go plus 2 minus 1. My zeros are 0, negative 2, and 1. So I'm going to go to my drawing, put a 1 there, negative 2 there, and a 0 here. Now if you remember the rules for cubics, if it's a cubic and my leading coefficient is positive, that means it's going to be like this, which tells me it shoots up to the right and it jets down on the far left. Now, because this is a 1 and that's a 1 and that's a 1, those are odd numbers, which means odd multiplicity, which means it goes through here. I know it's going to go up and then down and up, but I got to figure out where. So I'm going to plug in negative 1. So I'm going to go f of negative 1. So that'd be negative 1 cubed is negative 1. Negative 1 squared is 1. Negative 1 times negative 2 is 2. And if I added this together, the negative 1's cancel, and I'd have 2. So this goes up to 2 and then comes back down. Now the halfway point there is 0.5, so that's what I need to plug in. And I'm just going to go 0.5 or 1/2. Well, 1/2, I'm going to think of it as 1/2 cubed, because that's what I have to do to it, is 1/8. 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4. And then negative 2 times 1/2 is negative 1. Now I'm going to find some common denominators here. 1/8 plus 2/8 is 3/8. Minus 1 is actually minus 8/8. So that's negative 5/8. Now your drawing doesn't need to be perfect because it says sketch. So I'd say right about there. So it goes down here and then comes up. And that's how you sketch those graphs. Find the zeros, understand the outer extremities, and then fill in the halfway places. That's your step 1, step 2, step 3 drill. All right, number 14 says, what is the remainder when you divide this by this? So we look at the divisor, ask ourselves, what plus 3 is 0? That'd be negative 3. Put that in the chipmunk nest. So they got a little twist here. Notice it goes from 4 to 2. So we take the 1 off. We've got to put a 0 in there representing 0x cubed. Minus 8, then a 10, then the 22. If you forget that 0, game over. Drop the 1, multiply, add. Multiply, add. Multiply, add, and then add. What's the remainder? 1. That's letter D. Number 18 asks the question, is the function f of x equals 3x to the 4th, blah, 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 odd or even or neither? Remember the rule for the even. If you reflect it over the y-axis, then it's like, yep, it's even. Odd, it has to rotate 180 degrees over the origin, and you would have the exact same graph. And that's definitely not true. If you spun this thing 180 degrees, like so, everything's getting in the way. It is not the same graph at all. So we know that it's even because it reflects over the y-axis. But you'd have to go to Desmos, and I didn't say that. I went to Desmos, typed this in, spit that out, and then you make your conclusions. Does it flip over the y? Yes, it does. Is it symmetric over the origin? No. So we know it's even. Okay, last two bonus problems. Definitely going to have something like these, so be prepared. Pretty simple one here. How does the graph of f of x equals x cubed plus 6 differ from the parent function? Well, what's the parent function? It's y equals x cubed. So this goes back, first unit stuff. So plus 6 is just simply up 6. It's the parent function moved up 6. That's all you got to say. This last one says sketch the graph of the polynomial function with the following descriptions. We start with the zeros. So negative 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know it goes through there. 1, and then 3. Now look at this. We know because there's 3 zeros, it's a cubic. All right. So we know that it might be like this-ish, or it might be like that. So we got to kind of read this. As x approaches infinity, that's saying as x is going this way, as the graph is heading that way, the graph is heading up to infinity. So that would say y is infinity, so it's going up. And then as x moves left, in other words, as this graph goes far left, y goes down to negative infinity, so that's going this way. So we know it's going to be this one. We just need to fill in the blanks. Now it says sketch it, so it doesn't have to be perfect. So there you go. Now someone else could have went like that and like this. So you just kind of got to get the general idea. And you guys should be ready for your test. So good luck.